Hello everyone, Johnny Thunder, EAS&Weather here with your Day 1 fire weather outlook. There's a critical risk for fire spread today that encompasses extreme southeastern corner of Arizona, much of New Mexico, western and northwestern Texas, the Texas Panhandle, west central Oklahoma, the western part of the Oklahoma Panhandle, eastern Colorado, southwestern Nebraska, and northwestern Kansas. Cities in the critical fire weather area today include El Paso, Texas, Lubbock, Texas, Amarillo, Texas, Pueblo, Colorado, and Midland, Texas. And there's an elevated fire weather risk area today. An elevated fire weather risk area today covering eastern Arizona, parts of New Mexico, parts of Colorado, a little stripe of western Texas, western Oklahoma, the eastern half of the Oklahoma Panhandle. I think I mentioned parts of Colorado too. Parts of Kansas, most of Nebraska, far southeastern Wyoming, and southern South Dakota for the elevated. So, in synopsis, an upper-level trough and accompanying mid-level jet streak will move into the central CONUS today. Simultaneously, a surface trough and cold front will advance through the central plains and upper Midwest. The most acute fire weather risks are centered over the central and southern high plains, specifically behind and ahead of the cold front. Within this corridor, intense southwesterly winds will switch to the northwest following the frontal passage. When coupled with low humidity and exceptionally dry fuels, these factors will result in elevated to critical fire weather conditions. Southern and central plains. Wind speeds just off the surface are expected to intensify from eastern New Mexico into the Texas Panhandle by this afternoon, driven by surface cyclogenesis over southern Kansas and northwest Oklahoma. Given that the dry line is forecast to remain east of the Cap Rock through the morning, moisture recovery will be lackluster across eastern New Mexico and the western Texas Panhandle, with only minimal upper-level clouds today, facilitating robust vertical mixing. Expect relative humidity down to 10% or less, while sustained westerly winds reach 20 to 25 miles per hour. The critical area was expanded to include portions of northeast Colorado and southwest Nebraska. At least a few hours of critical conditions are possible in northwest 15 to 20 mile per hour winds behind the front before higher relative humidity move over the area late in the day. Isolated pockets of extremely critical conditions remain possible within the gap flow corridors of southeast Colorado and the other terrain-influenced areas stretching from eastern Colorado into the western Texas Panhandle. In these localized areas, sustained winds of 30 miles per hour will likely overlap with single-digit relative humidities. To the north, an elevated fire weather threat will persist across the central plains, including the remainder of eastern Colorado, western Kansas, and much of Nebraska, as dry, post-frontal northwesterly winds benefit from downslope enhancement. This threat also encompasses portions of the high plains, where the arrival of dry post-frontal air may cause existing wildfires or dormant lightning holdovers from Wednesday to flare up under the sustained dry and breezy regime. Precipitation accumulation overnight will continue to be closely monitored over portions of eastern South Dakota, where elevated wind and relative humidity conditions are likely, but fuels are currently expected to become unreceptive. So, that's your Day 1 fire weather outlook. Stay safe and vigilant in these areas today. If I were you, I would gather supplies immediately, such as food, water, clothing, toiletries, medical supplies, a flashlight, a cell phone, phone chargers, extra batteries, and a battery-powered radio in the event that you need to evacuate on a moment's notice, because fires can start suddenly and spread quickly. Please avoid outdoor burning in these areas today. Because all it takes is one little spark for a fire to start and spread quickly. Okay? Do not throw cigarettes on the ground. Even if they're not lit. Because one, that's littering, which is illegal and not safe for the environment. You you could get a pricey fine if you get caught littering, and it can also cause harm to the environment. Okay. Additionally, that brings me to my next point. All it takes is a little spark for a fire to start to spread quickly, which can destroy the environment if a wildfire develops and gets out of control. So please make sure you dispose the cigarettes properly in the trash can. Alright? Not on the ground because, again, it's unsafe and illegal. So yeah, and make sure your cigarette is fully out before throwing it away. Alright? So it does not start a trash can fire. Alright, so stay safe in these areas today, and I'll see you in my day 1 severe weather outlook, which will come out very soon. Take care.